What in the name of Ronnie Bass is Trevor Lawrence doing? Playing possum versus the Chiefs, gets tripped up twice, gets up, ends up running in for a touchdown. 6 fantasy points right there. Jaguars upset the Chiefs. There you have it. What is up, my dudes? Welcome back to the channel where we turn waiver wire scraps into victory laps. I'm your host, and today is my deep dive in the Week 6 waiver wire. Every player on this list is under 45% rostered on Sleeper, which means they should be available in most of your leagues. Quick reminder before we dive in, the Texans and Vikings are on bye this week, so not too much roster spots open there, but buckle up. Let's get into these right here. Jump into them. Week 6, starting with quarterbacks, streaming game, looking at the matchups for you. Got a few interesting options here. Who could maybe save your week? First on the list, I got Sam Darnold, 36% rostered, guys. Facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sam Darnold's Week 5 performance against Tampa Bay, 28 of 34, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, threw an interception that cost him the game, and 0 sacks. Darnold showing he can produce against above-average defenses, guys. Mid-range QB2. Next on the list, I got Trevor Lawrence, actually, guys. I know I talked about him playing possum. He's only 33% rostered. Playing Seattle, coming off his biggest game of the year, 27 fantasy points. Hopefully he can keep feeding the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. That would be wonderful for fantasy owners. He's throwing YOLO balls to Travis Hunter. Crazier things have happened. Don't hate Trevor Lawrence here, though. You know, he did get that 6 extra fantasy points by, the stumbling into the end zone there. Then I got Tua, 30% rostered. Tua is playing the LA Chargers. And Tua put together an efficient performance in his road loss to Carolina, going 27 of 36 for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns with 0 turnovers. Connected with Devon Achane, Darren Waller, and Jalen Waddle for scores. Miami can't run the ball. They only had 19 rushing yards against the Panthers on 14 attempts. So basically, everything's coming through the air. He had no picks, no fumbles, still no Tyreek Hill, but he's still getting it done. And hopefully you guys, when I said on last week's waiver wire episode to add Darren Waller, hopefully you listened and did it because it looks like he's doing pretty well. Looking for a YOLO ball, a rat's prayer. Bryce Young, 21% rostered, taken on the Dallas Cowboys. He went 19 for 30, 198 yards, 2 TDs and interception. Carolina's 27-24 win over Miami. Dallas Cowboys defense, number 1 fantasy defense for opposing quarterbacks. Bryce Young could cook this week. He really could. Small chance. Smaller than him. Before we jump into running backs, guys, do me a massive favor. Smash that like button if you're ready to dominate your league. Subscribe for weekly waiver wire breakdowns and ring that bell so you'll never miss a pickup. And you don't want to miss our matchups on Thursday. We're going live Thursday night. We also have our Start Sit Sleeper episode on Thursday morning, wherever you listen to podcasts, although the lives are only available on YouTube or X at tffdudes. Have some Start Sit questions, trade questions, life questions, dating advice. Join us on the live, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always is fun. Keep tuning. Had over 120 live guys on the live last week. You won't want to miss it. You won't regret it. I promise. We answer all questions. Had a little bit of bullying in the chat. Had to put some people in timeout. It's all good. Running backs, guys. The Wild West of fantasy. Running back waivers where dreams are made and crushed. This week, we've got some messy committee situations and possibly breakouts to sort through. Kamani Vidal and Hassan Haskins. Chargers backfield. With Omarion Hampton headed to IR, Vidal and Haskins will battle for the lead role in Los Angeles. Both logged 14 snaps in Week 5, with Haskins getting 1 more touch. It's shaping up to be an even timeshare if Hampton misses time, but Vidal seems like the one to prioritize in 12-team leagues or deeper. Chargers face the Dolphins, who just gave up 239 rushing yards to the Panthers, so there's some upside here, guys. But it is a committee, so be careful. Next, some stashes here. I got Isaiah Davis, 12% rostered. Jets RB2 played 32 snaps in Week 5 behind Breece Hall, who handled most of the work with 155 total yards on 18 touches. Davis has 6 carries for 32 yards, 6 catches for 52 yards on the year. He'll keep that passing down rule against Denver this week. And then Keandre Miller, 28% rostered versus New England. If Alvin Kamara ends up on the trade block, Miller's value spikes. He logged 10 carries for 41 yards and caught 1 pass for 8. more in the win over the Giants. Miller has now double-digit carries 2 straight weeks, even leading the team in attempts last game. With Kamara struggling and Miller's 39% snap share trending up, he's a sneaky stash heading into week 6. Next one, Tajay Spears, 36% owned at Las Vegas Raiders. Spears played 25% of the snaps last week, and that number I think could jump closer up to 40. Titans need a spark, and more than just a spark of an interception being fumbled for a touchdown. A spark that Tajay Spears could deliver in one single play. I don't recommend watching these games, but just, plug them and pray for him to get a play for you. That's all I can say. Sean Tucker, 17% rostered versus the San Francisco 49ers. Tucker filled for Bucky Irving, but only saw 13 snaps and never found much room to run. Still with Irving out again, Tucker will be the backup to Rachaad White versus the 49ers. Then I got Brashard Smith, just a guy that, you're hoping ends up being that guy. Didn't get a lot of the 2-minute drill today, which was unfortunate, but I'm thinking that he still could be a guy there in Kansas City. Next on my list, guys, I have a little bit of a poll I did on X. I thought I need to break down. Jameson Williams has been absolutely terrible if you have him on your fantasy football roster. It's been bad. So I put a poll out there. I said, if Jameson Williams was dropped on waivers, would you pick him up? Now let's think about this for a second. Ask yourself this question. If you saw him on your waiver wire, would you pick him up? Now you got to think of what situation is my team in? If you're undefeated, I think you hold on to him for dear life. You hold on and you just say, you know what? He's going to have those boom weeks and he's going to have those normal weeks. So I'm not going. I had a toothpick on my hat. It looks ridiculous. Go Dodgers. But if you're undefeated, just keep rolling the dice. What do you got to lose? Maybe he blows up on your bench. Maybe he blows up in your starting lineup. If you're just scraping by to get a win, I think you got to drop him. You can't just let this little ticking time bomb take up a roster spot. It's going to happen, but the feast or famine is unbearable. Heading over to X, guys, at tffdudes, I had 232 people vote, 9 hours left. 56% said no, 44% said yes. So majority going with no, you would not add him if you saw him on waivers. Let me know in the comments on Spotify or YouTube, would you pick him up or would you not? I feel like I feel like if you're undefeated, pick him up. Why not? If you're scraping by, maybe you just need that boom or bust. If he's on waivers and you don't have a win, maybe he's that guy that takes you to the next level. If you've been playing him every single week and he's not doing good, please bench him. Do us all a solid. Maybe you're the reason holding them back. Very well could be, guys. Quick timeout, dudes. Before we hit the wide receivers, let's shout out today's sponsor, Sleeper Picks. You know that feeling? You just know a player's about to go off. Now you can test that gut with Sleeper Picks. Choose more or less on player stats, rushing yards, touchdowns, catches, whatever. Stack 2 to 8 picks. You can win up to 100x your entry if you nail all of them. No rosters, no lineup stress, just you versus the numbers. And guys, use promo code DUDES100 and they will match you up to $100, guys. Just like that. DUDES100, they'll match you up to $100. Guys, we're going live on X and YouTube this week. If you would like one of these Dudes script hats, join the live. It's that simple, guys. We will see you there. Throwing it over to the wide receivers. Deepest position, which means there's some gyms out there. And, you probably missed some gyms last week that would have lost to would have won you your matchup. Kendrick Bourne, 15% rostered at Tampa Bay. Bourne exploded in San Francisco's 26-23 win over the Rams. 10 catches on 11 targets for 142 yards, career high. He's quickly becoming Mac Jones' go-to guy, stepping up while Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall recover. Just note his value drops those guys' return, but I think he's doing good enough that maybe he stays in that lineup. Maybe. I don't know. And I said Mac Jones. I think Brock Purdy's got to look at this and be like, hey, I got to get that guy the ball. That guy's a playmaker. You don't make plays like that and just stay on the bench. He's the number 3 there, but they could involve him a little bit more, especially with how Kittle's banged up. And remember, guys, all these guys are under 45% rostered. So this isn't like go add Ja'Cory, Krosky, Merritt. This is some deep waiver ads. Torrey Horton, Sam Darnold heard a who, I guess you could say 15% rostered. at Jacksonville. Horton scored his 4th touchdown this season. It's week 5, guys. The Seahawks had to air it out in that high-scoring shootout, and Horton benefited, hauling in 3 of 4 targets for 39 yards in the score. His snap percentage jumped from 36% in week 4 to 49% week 5, which is a promising trend. The rookie's clearly talented and has a real nose for the end zone. He's got the ability to get lost amongst defensive backs and create separation. Cooper Kupp's still kind of doing his thing at number 2 spot, so Horton's not taking over anytime soon. But if he keeps playing like this, Seahawks won't be able to keep him off the field. 5 TDs, guys. They're heading to Jacksonville in week 6. If the Jaguars can keep it competitive, Seattle may need to throw more, which could mean more opportunities for Horton. He's worth the bench stash as we see if the usage trend continues. Keep an eye on his snap share and targets. Rookie second half breakout potential could be real. Ryan Flournoy, man, 0% rostered at Carolina. Dallas Cowboy led the Cowboys in receiving this week. And as long as CeeDee Lamb sidelined, this Dallas pass catcher is worth a look. Targets have to go somewhere, and right now he's making the most of them. Like, I don't think you have that 100-yard first half and not be involved anymore. Like, it reminded me kind of Miles Austin's, game against the Chiefs when he came out of nowhere, like the year after. Maybe that was with Terrell Owens. I just remember Tony Romo just throwing bombs to Miles Austin. Got the same feeling with Ryan Flournoy. Man, I'm butchering this guy's name. I know you know who he is, though. And that's what I have for wide receivers, guys. Not a lot there. Tight ends, though, I'm really excited about the tight ends this week. Had some good tight ends last week. Some of them are still on the list, guys. So tight ends, it's kind of where we're just trying to not get those zeros. But I think these guys actually help you win your week. Taysom Hill's back. Check the roster for that. That's always worth a dart throw. He's not on my list. I got Jake Tongs, 8% rostered at Tampa Bay, back-to-back games with 13 fantasy points. As long as Kittle's out, start him. It's that easy. AJ Barner, 3% rostered at Jacksonville. Barner's turning into end zone machine. 3 TDs in 2 games, guys, and 4 total on the season. He's caught 14 of 16 targets for 134 yards, playing over 80% of the snaps in 4 or 5 games. Target volume could be better, but when Darnold looks his way in the red zone, good things happen. Solid streaming option in deeper leagues. Cade Otton, 9% owned versus San Francisco 49ers. Talked about him on last week's show, put up 10 fantasy points against the Seahawks. Willing to roll the dice on any of Baker's receiving options. And then the one that I really like a lot, Theo Johnson, 10% owned versus Philadelphia. Another repeat from last week. He scored 2 touchdowns against the Saints. Got a tough matchup against the Eagles, but the target should still be there. Jackson Darts trust him. So key points here. Here's how I'm ranking these pickups. Must adds if available. I got Jake Tongs, Kendrick Bourne, and then strong consideration, Sam Darnold, depending on your quarterback situation. Tua, if you're really in a bind. Keandre Miller, Torrey Holton, AJ Barner. Some stashes, Chargers backfield, Tajay Spears, and Ryan Flournoy, Cowboys pass catcher. I can't pronounce his name. So, guys, remember, waiver wire success isn't just about this week. It's about building for the playoffs. Guys like Horton and Miller might not help you immediately, but they could be the difference matter down the stretch. So that's your week 6 waiver wire ads. I want to hear from you guys. Who are you targeting this week? Drop your top picks in the comments below and let me know who I missed, who's been hot that I just didn't pick up. Oh, Luther Burden. That's someone who needs to be picked up right there. Coming off the bye, could see the Bears really including Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, guys. Those guys are not rostered very high, especially coming off the bye. I think those are some nice little stashes you can get. Maybe you start them in a bind, but those guys need to be rostered, guys. So before you go, absolutely crush that like button like it's a piñata full of fantasy points, guys. Subscribe faster than you claim a league-winning pickup, and hit those notifications so you never miss content that could win you your league. Until Thursday, guys, keep grinding, keep streaming, and keep dominating. We'll see you back here for all your Week 6 action. And as always, take care.